I wanted to revisit my homestead pantry tour for a couple reasons. One, it was really a lousy video and I'm not really pleased with it. And also because one of the things that I have found since beginning this pantry is that it works. The things I have done are working. This pantry is not becoming a mess. I go through it every now and then, obviously, to clean it out and organize it, but for the most part, everything has a place and it flows. There's a beauty and a rhythm to this space. I, of course, have dreams of huge, long, tall wooden shelves filled with my jars, and someday, yes, this is a functional family pantry. There's a lot of overflow in other places, but this is what is working for us in a family filled with neurodiverse brains. If we can't see it, it doesn't exist for us. So here we go. Let's go take a look at what's working in this pantry. Now, as far as function and organization, there are a couple things that I have done to make my life really easy. This really cute bag from Anthropologie that I got on sale like forever ago. It's beautiful, so I like it. I like it hanging there, and that's where I put any plastic bags that I know will go into the recycle bins at a grocery store. And then this one holds other plastic bags, but these are ones that we might use for dog accidents in the house, or you know, my kids, they're teenagers and they won't use a lunch bag. So if I make a lunch, it has to go in a plastic bag. They know to keep it. They know that they need to use it until it can't be used anymore, but that's where I keep these. We don't get too many plastic bags because if I were to go to the store, I would ask for paper, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but that's where I keep just a small supply of these. I've got my broom and my duster down here, and then this basket is filled with paper bags and towels. Old dish towels, cloths that are now rags, and then it keeps them separate from my good towels, which I store elsewhere. We've got our cute little animal food bins. I don't like that they don't match. I'm really weird about that. This blue one came from a different house, and I would really like it to match this. However, we are trying to use what we have and not go out and buy things we don't need. So I'm learning to live with it. At some point, if I find one that I can thrift or someone's giving away, I would like it to be white. It's fun. And then you can see here, we've got the broom and the dustpan. Again, I'm a sucker for aesthetic. It just helps I think it helps my brain, but I like this white color for everything. I like wood, I like black. I like baskets, I like jars. The biggest thing for me is that if I can't see something, it doesn't exist. So there's two things that have really helped me, and that is clear jars and labels. When I know that this thing goes in this jar because I can see it or it's labeled, then I'm able to continue that flow and stay organized and not create a huge mess. This has taken me a while to figure out. These 3 black and white bins, they rotate just a little bit, but for the most part, this one is staying with some fresh fruit. Right now it's winter, we've got citrus, lemons, limes. Now in the summer when it gets super hot, this probably won't be viable anymore, but I like that the kids can see right into it, and when they come over to the pantry, it's like, oh, I guess I'll have an orange. There it is. Easy. This one right now is being figured out. I've done a little bit of decluttering, and this is kind of like an open basket right now. What I think I'm going to do is go downstairs to our storage where all the overflow stuff is and shop the week. So I figure out what I'm going to make this week, shop the week, if I have anything that needs to come up. Okay, so this last basket here We have kids that take a medicine every day. One of them keeps it in their room. They're trying to learn how to do that themselves. One of them has to have it right where they can see it. So it stays down here, it stays in this bin, and then when it's time to take the medicine, he knows that he also needs to have something to eat at the same time. So I keep that filled, he knows it's there, life stays easy. This one typically has tuna, peanut butter. This bin typically has tuna, because we do like tuna, allergy medicine, Motrin, things like that, that someone might need to just grab on a daily. This is chips. We do like chips. So chips are in this big bowl. My coffee is in this clear container. The kids really, and Dave, who am I kidding, really like cereal, so we keep bins of cereal. They get very sad when there's no cereal, so I do try to keep cereal for them. And then down here, these are labeled. This says kids snacks, and this one says crackers. This is our pasta basket. These noodles are a big one in our family. We really like rice noodles that can just be heated up with some water. The kids can make this themselves. If we have ramen, it will be in here. Any overflow pasta that doesn't fit in a jar will go here. Then the glass jars begin down here. Here are the glass jars, and it's really simple. I keep a gluten-free pasta, 2 different shapes in these. I've got popcorn that's labeled, dried cranberries, brown rice, oats for the chicken, oats for us, white rice, quinoa. Clearly I need some quinoa, but isn't that great? Like, I know that I need quinoa, so if I don't have any in my backup pantry, then I know that I need to get quinoa next time I do an order. Then I've got 1-to-1 gluten-free baking flour, and I have a like a masa for making cornbread. And then I keep a white vinegar and an apple cider vinegar, big bottles. Those are typically used during canning season. You know, I have little jars of them, and I use these to refill those little jars. And then I'm sure everyone's favorite part in a homestead pantry are the home canned foods. They're beautiful. How can you not just want to see that all the time? What I need to do, and the reason that inspired making this video right now, is I need to go through and wipe off all the tops. A couple reasons for that. One is Dave was doing construction, putting up some doors right next to the pantry, and there's just a layer of, you know, powdery, whatever, drywall, or, you know, they're dirty. Okay, so then what this is going to allow me to do is go through and take an inventory of everything I have. I have not done that all year, so that's something that I do need to do. I have jars here, I have some jars in the kitchen, and I have some jars in my studio. And what I'm looking to see is, you know, what have we used? What have we not used? And this is going to help inform what we grow this year, what we plan for, what we go to pick other places. So for instance, 2 seasons ago, I went crazy with apples. I wasn't growing a ton of my own food. I wanted to learn to preserve, so I went crazy with the apples. I did apple filling, I did apple sauce, I had apples in the freezer, I had apples in the fridge. I didn't have to go apple picking last year. We're putting in apple trees. I don't know how long it'll be till we get our own apples, but I will need to get apples this year. We're kind of down. We're down to 2 of these jars of applesauce. And then I also have a lot of apple pie filling that we actually never used, but I'm feeling very encouraged that we could start to use some of that now. Here's a tomato jam. I actually have not touched this one yet. This was made from all the little grape tomatoes and cherry tomatoes that we grew, which is why it's this beautiful, like sunny gold color. It's really good, and I don't know where I got the recipe. One of the things I've been trying to do is to write on the lid or in my gardening journal what the source was of that recipe that I've canned, because I think this one was just someone that I follow, a canner I follow, and it was on Instagram, and I don't know. So it is a tomato jam that I really like, and I may not be able to make again. We've got a lot of barbecue sauce. We love barbecue sauce. We're working our way through it. Things like Singapore hot chili sauce. I need to open one of these. We need to start using some of the hot peppers and then decide what I will need to grow, how much I'll need to grow this coming year. We also have maple jalapenos. You hear it called cowboy candy, but this was using maple sauce instead of sugar. I would say the biggest hit from my 2021 canning season, preserving season, was green tomato jam. This was from Pomoma's Pectin website. It's incredible. I put this in grilled cheese sandwiches. I put this basically on anything. A bagel with cream cheese. It's delicious. I just tuck this in wherever I can. I love it. And then when I look at like my tomato products, I may not need to grow a lot of tomatoes for canning this coming year. We didn't eat a lot of them this winter. I'm finding that my belly is very sensitive to tomato. I canned so much tomato chutney. I do not believe I will need to make tomato chutney this year. So this is really helpful for me, is to be able to come and see, like, I have a lot of canned tomatoes. I have a lot of marinara sauce. Chloe has kind of worked through the pizza sauce, so we may just say, okay, we need to can whole tomatoes and pizza sauce, and that's it. And any other tomato can be for fresh eating. The other thing we did with tomatoes is we did a lot of fermented salsa. I made way too much of that. I would much rather have have some of that for fresh eating. It lasts forever. I mean, it's still great in the fridge. I'm not saying that it's gone bad. It has not. But what I'd like to know, just for food security, is that I have salsa canned. I've tucked a few salsas up here. I have salsa in here. So I'm just gonna come in, do a count on that, and decide. I may add salsa also to the list of things that we'll preserve this year. As far as marinara sauce, I do not believe we'll need to, and that's wonderful because it's a lot of work. That canning marinara, you need so many tomatoes to come up with your marinara sauce. And for me, I would just, any extra tomatoes, I'll just can them up, whole tomatoes, and use them from the jar that way. I'm so reluctant to talk about my pickles and my relishes because these are now 2 years old. Okay, here's what happened. So, these were from last year. I made a few last year. Here's what happened is that before we had the 2,000 square foot fenced in garden that's basically growing 80% of our veg, we planted 4, maybe 6 cucumber plants in our raised bed. We got hundreds and hundreds of pounds of cucumbers. I've never seen anything like it. I know now you don't need to plant that many cucumbers. I canned and canned and canned. We have a generous amount of relish, bread and butter pickles, dill pickles. I'm not seeing this ending anytime soon. I barely canned any. I think I did 1 batch because there were, I just didn't want the cucumbers to go bad, of relish. You can use relish in potato salad, egg salad, eat it on your sausage, your hamburgers, that kind of thing. So it does serve a really nice purpose as far as giving foods flavor. It's just like, I mean, the amount I have is like, I need to share it. What I did end up pickling was green beans. They're called dilly beans. I had never done that before. I actually have not even opened a jar of these yet. So that will be on the menu this week, is getting something to use these dilly beans to go along with, or they could just be a snack. But I thought it would be kind of fun to do like a niçoise salad or something like that. You don't want your jars on top of each other. So I found these little shelves, metal shelves at Target, and I put them so that I can have 2 layers of jars. So I've got my 2 layers here, and I just come in and you'll see it's dirty, and I've got to come in and just clean these off, take inventory, go through it, see how everything's going. Now up here, I have a couple of baskets, and I'm probably going to be rethinking these. One of them is filled with dried beans from Rancho Gordo, and one of them is filled with an overflow of all of my like oats, flours, things like that. This basket is where I keep any extra honey or olive oil or vinegars, anything like that, in smaller bottles. Coconut oil stays in here. If I get a spray oil, which I rarely do, that would go in here. These little things are from the farmer's market. I'm saving them because I have a dream of a farm stand, so I'm saving those. And then here you can see there's a canning supplies bin and a soap sponges bin. I do want to show you up here at the very top row, where it's nice and tall and tucked away, I have plastic bins that I got at IKEA, and I labeled them with my beautiful label maker, and it's things like spices that came in bulk bags that are opened that I'm storing in there because they didn't all fit when I put them in my little jars. Some baking supplies, baking soda, baking powder, some nuts for baking, just things that kind of don't have another home, that aren't used very often. I keep a medicine bin up there, so the kids that have that medicine, daily medicine that they need to take, I know that it's up there so that when I need to refill their little containers, I can. Here is a nasturtium vinegar I made. Then we've got a pear vinegar that I made. And behind that is like my nemesis, my enemy, the thing that gives me nightmares. Fire cider. Chloe is so loyal to that fire cider. That's our second jar of it. She's pretty much done the first jar on her own. I hate it. It makes me want to throw up. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I was so excited about fire cider, but Lord, it's gross. All right, this pear vinegar, making your own vinegar is very easy. I will do videos on it. You can see I have a mother in my vinegar, and that's very exciting to me because that means that when I start a new batch, that mother will go into the new batch and it will help it become the vinegar that much faster. Now this one, the nasturtium vinegar, all I did was pick nasturtium flowers, soak them in an organic white wine vinegar for a while. The beautiful peppery flavors of the nasturtium and the colors of the nasturtium infuse into the oil, and that is delicious. We use that for salad dressings. You can probably see now how dirty they are. I don't think you could see how dirty they were before. That's why I gotta go through them. And I'm so proud that I've been able to put up so much food. And this is just one little section of what I have going on. You know, there's freezer food, there's more food downstairs, there's all of our like potato, onion, winter squash, garlic, those things that that I just stored on their own to see how far I could take them. Here's a peek at what's left from things that are considered cold storage. We don't really have a cold storage, we have a garage, but we've got some black futsu squash left, and a little bit of onion left, some garlic I think still downstairs, 3 winter squash, so many potatoes sprouting. These are ones that were up here. I might try to still use a couple of these, but probably not. And that's it. So, I mean, it's time to grow again. And then I have this space, this cabinet that was Dave's grandmother's cabinet. And I put spices and beans and nuts and herbs and teas and all sorts of things. And chocolate chips, obviously. And here, look, I just found more quinoa, cinnamon, herbs we grew for tea. So there's a lot that is just tucked around the house because I don't have just one giant room for storing food. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you come along on this journey with me and learn with me. It's okay if you don't know how to do something. We learn by trying. We learn by doing it. So let's do this together. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.